Won't you join us?
I know you won't make this difficult.
Love, Emily.
What is up, chicken butts? Today I've got a wild Reddit post to share with you all that features what could be the Bridezilla to end all bridezillas. But before we get to that, let's look at the case of a man whose partner brought home a new pet without him agreeing.
Girlfriend, 29, brought home a puppy after I, male 32, said no. Last month, my girlfriend and I moved into a one-bedroom apartment together. We have been together for about a year. For context, I pay for a majority of the rent/expenses. Since moving in together, she has mentioned her desire for a puppy. I like dogs. However, I'm not ready for a puppy right now, as I'm well aware of the workload required to raise one properly. I told her that I'm open to the idea of an older dog in the future, but definitely not right now. Part of the reason is that I work from home and I do not have time to let a dog outside every 45 minutes. I could not have made it clearer how I felt about this issue. When I came home a week ago, there was an 8-week-old yellow lab in my apartment, so I've spent the entire week taking care of the dog. It's a great puppy and I take amazing care of it. However, it is starting to kill me. My partner has taken accountability for messing up, promised to take care of all puppy responsibilities, and promised to never do anything like this ever again. She also said she will not rehome the dog. A few weeks ago, I thought this was the woman I was going to marry. She has so many great qualities and is a wonderful person. Now I can't even stand being in my own home. I find any excuse to leave. I'm afraid that I'm starting to resent her. I think you're past starting. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of issues here. First, I would say the title probably would look better if it said she brought home puppy after we agreed not to get one. I said no sets kind of a weird tone from the start that I feel like is underlying the entire thing, where there's just automatically resentment that it's not getting to call all the shots because he covers the majority of expenses. I assume if you moved in together and you were doing that, then you agreed to some sort of arrangement. So as long as she's withholding her part of the bargain, you really have no business resenting her. Now, if there was any conversation about getting a pet and y'all had any sort of disagreement or agreement not to do it, then yeah, that is wild to then turn around and bring home a pet, especially being the one who is away all day. So that part is pretty much inexcusable, especially because this dog is only 8 weeks. Honestly, that's like the easy phase. It really gets more difficult at like 3 to 4 months until about a year. So this is a huge commitment that if she's going to be working away from home full time, she really is just putting on him. So I don't know how she's also taking responsibility and taking care of all puppy responsibilities because she's literally not home the majority of the time. I think there's more going on than this puppy conversation. Maybe they moved in together and just as a whole, it's not an amazing roommate situation. That happens and that's okay. But it's unfair at this point to stay if you are just resenting her. Either accept her apology and stay, work on things, or say you do not accept and you have to split and figure out what to do from there, because it's not fair to essentially accept her apology and say she's taking accountability, but then still resent her and say you don't want to be around her. But what are the comments saying? The top comment is not unreasonable at all. Animals need to be agreed upon, especially when they live for 8+ years. Unfortunately, your relationship may be over anyway. You either keep the dog and resent her, or you make her give away the dog and she resents you. However, this may be a good thing since she showed you she has zero respect for your feelings and is financially irresponsible. Some fair points there. What happens if she wants kids before you're ready and she just forgets her birth control or goes off of it, then admits to doing it but promises she'll never do it again? Because at that point, you can't really go back. She refuses to get rid of the dog. She just promises she won't do it again. But you have zero way of making sure that happens if you guys stay together. At the end of the day, that is fair. It may be extreme for that individual to suggest that this person would intentionally trap this man into a situation with a child, but at the most basic level of things, she has shown that despite his feelings, if she desires something, she will move ahead regardless and hope for forgiveness. So that would be difficult to move past unless you saw real remorse and real action to make up for what they did, which it does not sound like is happening here. Purple Bowling Shoes says, this is one of those things that require 2 yeses. You're right to feel disrespected and hurt over it. It's a major responsibility that she dropped in your lap after you made it clear you weren't up for it yet. If you're feeling resentful, it's best to treat this with the weight it deserves. I'm not you, so I don't know if forgiveness is possible. For me, I don't think I could get past a decision that will have consequences for years when you've only got one under your belt. I'd have to check out, and I think that's fair. When we're younger, it can feel like everything is the end of the world, everything is the be-all, end-all. But if you only have a few months or 1 year, with one person, and you're not married, then any sort of huge issue is probably not even worth making yourself uncomfortable and working through. Just take it as a sign that it's not meant to be. Anyway, it seems like pretty much everybody is in agreement that girlfriend crossed the line, and unfortunately this poor puppy is now just a innocent victim of all of this. So hopefully no matter what happens, they ensure that that dog has a good life.
That's what friends are for.
The bridesmaid, the bridezilla of all bridezillas. I'll start with the Reddit post. We're both female, 23. I get her heart is in a good place, and I said yes initially because we've been friends basically our whole lives, but we haven't been that close recently. I was roped into planning this engagement party planning picnic, and there just seems to be a lot of extremely detail-oriented tasks that I've never even heard of. We met on Zoom 4 times just for this. The wedding isn't till next year, but I'm worried I'm signing up for way more than I will be able to handle. I'm about to be in med school. I have a young niece and newborn nephew, work full-time till school starts, and have a lot going on between me and my boyfriend's family. But they just got engaged, so I'm also thinking this is just a lot of early energy that will be burned through. Does anyone have a similar experience? Does detail-oriented necessarily lead to bridezilla? I guess I'm on the fence, but I'm also freaked out. Am I the asshole? So, what makes this post especially incredible is the photos. So the first photo was taken presumably at this engagement party planning picnic. And so we can see a delicious charcuterie set up in the background, some cute baskets, lots of pink. And our note says, as you know, you are one of my best friends. I love you so much. I humbly invite you to join me on the journey, capitalized, of the bridesmaids. The journey of the bridesmaids. It will be euphoric, magical, challenging, and ... life-changing. This will be a huge opportunity for everyone involved. Won't you join us?
I know you won't make this difficult.
Love, Emily. Okay, so that's fucking crazy. Calling the shit the journey of the bridesmaids and saying that your wedding is going to be euphoric, magical, challenging, and life-changing. What the fuck is happening? Are you doing ayahuasca? Because then I'll be a bridesmaid. And a huge opportunity. That phrase is almost always a red flag. Like saying, oh, this is a huge opportunity. That probably just means I'm going to ask you to do a lot of unpaid labor. And of course, I know you won't make this difficult is an insane thing to say in any situation like this where you're asking essentially a favor to supposedly someone you love. But there's more. We see another picture here of the engagement party planning picnic. Lots of wine, some fruits, pink balloons. We've got a shot here of the engagement guide for Gemily. Jacob and Emily. Terrible couple name, by the way. So first we've got their official colors, I'm assuming. So it's feminine power, this bold pink. Rosé whisper, the dusty pink beside it. Kayak Rapids blue, which is this deeper blue there. The lighter blue is tranquil sky. And then we've got Nue Terra or New Terra. I can't quite tell, but it's basically like a gray black. And then white, innocent pearl. Innocent pearl. So that's already wild because that implies that you must wear those colors only. Then we've got the do's and don'ts. Above the do's is a picture of a diamond and it says 3.20 CT. Oh, carat. Wow, I don't have any jewelry. So I'm assuming the ring is 3 carat. I don't know how many 3 carats is. Add it in the edit. But so our do's. Use hashtag Gemily on all media. Do the Gemily wedding. So I must do attend the wedding. Use fonts, Cool Vetica and Cute Frog. Then we've got the don'ts. Don't use Gemily or M-Cub. I don't think anyone was going to use M-Cub. Don't say Gemily's wedding. And don't engage with or write unsanctioned variations. We are watching your social media, and if you use the wrong hashtag, you will be eliminated. One of the best parts of this entire thing is that next to the don'ts, all we see is Abigail with an asterisk where the I goes, because I guess they consider the name a slur, but Abigail is crossed out and it says, "We are not speaking. Do not mention her." So not only is poor Abigail being left out of the Gemily wedding, or I'm sorry, yes, the Gemily wedding, you're not even allowed to bring her up, or you will be taken out back like Old Yeller. But next we've got the reveal timeline, folks. This is very important. Remember, let me post first, aka Emily posts initial content. Epic. So incredibly, the first stage is the tease stage. An air of mystery. Something's coming. If you know, you know. Love is in the air. And of course, emergency sign. Do not use Gemily. If you use Gemily before the launch date, you will be eliminated. In the launch phase, tell everyone. I'm so excited. Small but mighty. After events for non-invitees. So many people are going to be dying to celebrate the Gemily wedding that even if they're not invited, they're going to be waiting. What's the afters? Where are we meeting? What's the next step? I'm sure. Finally, we have the wedding, the Gemily wedding, which I just want to say that I recorded this before the launch timeline, so I hope I don't get Old Yellered. But the Gemily wedding is Saturday evening. This date permitted the best guest experience. Do not use 9/11 or September 11th. And they're marketing it as the weekend of Friday, September 10th, 2027 on Saturday evening. So that would be called Saturday, September 11th. Everything about that pretty much was amazing. But we still have more, because in the next shot we have today's agenda for the engagement party planning picnic. It says 5:30 p.m., mingle, review save the date samples, review photography samples. 5:45, engagement party brainstorm. So then what were you doing on those 4 Zoom calls? 6 p.m., bridal shower brainstorm. I don't know why we didn't just have one long brainstorming sesh and take notes, but make sure to text those URLs to Amanda, not Abigail. At 6:20, bachelorette party brainstorm and committee formation. Committee formation? Who? How big is this committee and who is left to be on it? How far are we willing to go? That is a very terrifying question. 6:45, attire mood boarding. Thinking Pinterest, but open to suggestions. Dusk/golden hour. Photo shoot. Of course, stop everything for the photo shoot. At 7 p.m., brainstorm thank you gifts for the bridal party. Brainstorm their own thank you gifts. And then after that, we see schedule wedding planner dinner. I've never heard of more planning in my life. And then finally, we've got cleanup. So before I get to the responses, I just want to say, I hate to be that guy, but I do think this is fake. If you look closely at the pictures, they're real sus. The first one already caught my eye. It just seemed slightly off in terms of the coloring and the shading and such. Although it is interesting to see consistency with today's agenda being there in the bottom. Those are really big grapes. I can't quite tell what is happening with the basket, but it could go either way. So definitely sus. But then it's this next picture that really made me think, because these 2 people in the back seem so prominently pasted in. Of course, they're in pink because, the storyteller wants us to know they're connected to this party. I guess that's like the husband and wife arguing. but their shading, shadowing, all of that is just completely off. They look like they're floating there. These flowers too, like they also kind of look like they're floating. Everything just looks a little bit weird. Also, why are there grapes over here when we know there are already grapes elsewhere? And also there are huge strawberries here, although I don't know what's happening to the tops of them. But then the container of strawberries is up on this table and it's completely full. Also on this table is like a crappy cardboard dessert stand. Like, why would we not have any of the desserts on the dessert stand? Very odd. Also, of course, people could move, but it does seem like the second picture is showing the area where the first picture person would have been sitting, but the last picture to me is what seals the deal. So the wine there that is sealed and closed is sus, but okay, maybe they haven't drank that one yet, although I don't know why it's laying there. But what really to me confirms it is this binder that is laying there that says the book of everything, but we can all see that it's a book of literally nothing. So I'm going to go with this as BS, very entertaining BS, but I do think that it is fake. But let's see what the comments say. I'm exhausted just looking at these photos. Respectfully decline and move on with your life. I mean, for real, this is not someone you would want in your life at all. 4 Zoom calls to plan a picnic with its own agenda. She's treating her wedding like a promo event for rebranding her new self as if she's some sort of worldwide celebrity. I'm guessing she's a nobody from small town Nebraska. Nebraska catching strays for no reason. Had to force myself through after reading Don't Be Difficult, WTF, for real. I want to know what Abigail did. Probably forgot to laminate something. This person says she called them Jamily, which as we know is unforgivable. But at the end of the day, maybe all Abigail did was decline. Maybe Abigail was supposed to be the maid of honor and she said no because this woman is not fun to be around. And now nobody can speak to her. But that's just my guess. Anyway, of course, my advice, if this is real at all to this individual, would be run away as fast as you can. This person is definitely going to be expecting ungodly amounts of labor from you, probably ungodly amounts of expenses from you. So nothing good will come from this. If you're on the fence about this at all, there's no reason to continue on.
Okay, I put the same outfit on again, but there's been an update post to this now. Thanks for all the comments, everyone. I had no idea that the post would take off like that. I read as many as I could. I just wanted to update you that the day I made the post, Emily blocked me on everything, and TBH, I figured that might happen. Like I said before, we were close, but it wasn't recently, middle school. And this kitten of felt like being roped into something. Probably because she doesn't have a lot of people to ask because nobody likes her. I was fine with it and then came home to flowers and a note today. I wasn't that freaked out because I know a lot of OU said she was threatening, but she's not going to actually do anything besides run a smear campaign. Her folks also own a couple restaurants locally, which I would think I am banned from, but I won't go and find out. The reason I'm not freaked out because Abigail also sent me a DM and we ended up talking on the phone. She said it's a lot more complicated what happened with her, but she was reassuring that she didn't think Emily would actually do anything besides badmouth me a lot. She said she might share her side of the story soon, but she's also considering letting sleeping dogs lie. That's the update. I'm just happy to be out of this and feel supported by everyone. Thanks for understanding. So looking at the photos included, first we've got the handwritten note from Emily. It says, I can't believe you would post what you did and embarrass me with your toxic lies. Never speak to me or anyone I know again. And just FYI, as unhinged and rude as you are, you can't take away from #Gemely's potential. Don't be nervous. Love always. Emily. I mean, don't be nervous. I don't know what else that could possibly be other than a threat. Then we also see the bouquet with the card attached that was left outside of the door, which, if this is real, that's a decently sized bouquet. That was not cheap. And then I guess that the card that this note was inside of, which I don't really get if there was a card attached. See, this is also suspicious because we see the envelope on there and the way it's delivered, it looks more like the company delivered. So then how would the handwritten note have been included? They would have printed it inside of this card. Also, in the next picture, we see the note out again with, I believe that's the card that says you're never getting rid of me, which I guess is another part of the threat, like, girl, I'm not going away. But once again, if they were going to handwrite this note, why would they not write it inside of that card? Why would they put a piece of paper inside the card? And why can't we see inside of the card? But let's look at the comments. Very top comment says, Emily, when you see this, just know your wedding looks like a tacky, low-budget 2000s gender-swapping rom-com. And if you're going to be a classless mean girl, you should at least learn to back it up with taste. And everybody else is pretty much agreeing that it's passive-aggressive, and she's crazy, she doesn't need this energy in her life anyway. But I literally don't see anyone else that thinks it's fake, so now I don't know. Someone even posted a close-up shot of the couple arguing that looks so freaking fake to me, and people are commenting back without saying that. So I have no idea. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you on the flip side, I guess.